book discussion, The Mysterious Case of Rudolf Diesel. This is a really interesting story, and it's one of those books that while I was reading it, I was like, how come I haven't heard about this before? And there's really two important things to say here. Number one, the story of Rudolf Diesel is a story of an inventor, of a person that with his genuine engineering and his ingenuity and creativity and business acumen has single-handedly changed the world. And I think this resonates with us. We're big investors in Tesla. So Rudolf Diesel reminds us of Elon Musk. So one person, one particular idea, and lo and behold, you change the world. So this is fascinating to see that, because sometimes we have to pinch ourselves, as investors of Tesla, that like, is this possible that one person can do all this? And I think Diesel is a sort of predecessor of Elon Musk. Now he's in the same, I would say he's in the same rank as people like Edison or Ford. And actually in the story, it comes across that he actually meets Thomas Edison, and there's an interesting scene in the book where they discuss sort of the idea of being formally educated like Rudolf Diesel versus being a tinkerer like Edison, and I think both actually, both men are an example that actually both approaches work. That you can be a tinkerer or a well-educated person and still deliver a fascinating results. What's really interesting about Diesel is his invention of the diesel engine and the impact it had. It's very profound, and I think we have to think about this a little bit deeper, because this is definitely reminiscent of Elon Musk and what he's doing today. In particular, the idea that, look, you have a technology that is revolutionary, and the diesel engine was revolutionary for many reasons. You could use, with a lot less energy, you could get a lot more power. You can do more. You can build submarines, for example. You can build trucks. You can build tanks. You can build, things along those lines that just weren't possible before. You couldn't do it with external combustion engines such as steam engines, or you could do it with internal combustion engines such as petrol, gasoline engines. You just couldn't do something like a submarine. I don't know about the technical details of why, but the way I understand it is the power of the diesel engine is the efficiency. That's the key. It's the efficiency in the sense that you have this amazing ability to deliver power or work at a much lower rate of consumption, and you don't have exhaust and your things like that. So for submarines, that was a huge plus. Now, of course, today we have nuclear submarines, so we're much, because the problem with a submarine is you're out there in the ocean and you have to refuel, and that's going to be difficult because submarines are not like ships that go from A to B. Submarines, they float around, and ideally they float around all the time because they have either their job is to hunt something, or their job is to protect something. So they need to be able to float around, and diesel offered a solution in the early 20th century with diesel engines. So it's just fascinating how a person can develop designs, engineering designs, and then really have large impact on industry. And I think that's very, very well done in the book, how that comes across. His life is being celebrated. He's an inventor. He's a successful businessman. He made money, and he gets involved in really big politics. The German Kaiser wants his technology to be exclusive to Germany. The Brits want access to his technology because they realize under Winston Churchill, who is the head of the Navy, which is the most important branch of the British Army in the 20th century, early 20th century. that he realized the importance of the diesel engine. So the diesel engine, the idea of the diesel engine is really crucial for world politics. And this brings us to the other part of the story, which is his disappearance. So Diesel disappears, 1913. It's not clear how he disappears and why, and it's not clear whether he's dead or not dead, whether he committed suicide. And the book finishes with the conjecture that probably what happened is that he was either kidnapped or he defected to the Brits. And the Brits took him in because they needed to design diesel engines. They needed to be better at diesel engines than they were before, because they realized that they have to compete with Germany on U-boats, and the U-boats require diesel engines. So this is roughly the story. And I don't want to dwell too much on the mystery side, the interesting, the novelistic side of the things. I mean, that's it's fun. It's a good read. It's interesting. There's tension in there and all that. But I want to really focus on the symbolic side, sort of the what reminds us of Elon Musk in this book, because I think that's what's so powerful. Like, there's a man who, grows up in France, actually, and then is German, moves to Germany, goes to school there, studies with some of the best people in Munich, Technische Universität of München, and then develops a diesel engine. Now, this is a time when we have the inventions of the internal combustion engine. We have the transition from steam power to petrol power, the emergence of oil, the emergence of Standard Oil and Rockefeller, and all of that is happening. And within that context, we have diesel. And it's really fascinating how this man was able to capture the imagination of his time and his people, and really develop, in my opinion, a solution to, a technical solution to the problem of submarines, a technical solution to the problem of truck, train, and it's still today. I mean, most of heavy duty goods shipping happens with diesel engines, whether it's through ships or trains or trucks. And what's also interesting is that we have large diesel companies outside of Germany. We have Cummins here in the U.S. We have Sulzer brothers in Switzerland were big, Sweden, and that's partly also because that's the conjecture, but because Rudolf Diesel defected and actually brought the technology outside and then helped other people develop the design. Now, another interesting part of the story is really the importance of the man. Like, the idea of the diesel engine was known. The patents were available. You could replicate the technology, but the ability to work with him personally seemed to be so important. And I think that's something people underestimate also today when we talk about competition, for example, in electric cars or FSD or Optimus, with SpaceX. Like, to have Musk and his people and the culture of the company in one place, working on problems, solving problems, is invaluable. And I think it's something that we sometimes underestimate. And I think as investors, we need to appreciate that. And it's just, we just had an episode about the earnings call that happened yesterday. We are January 30th now. Tesla had their Q4 earnings call on January 29, 2025. For January 30th, 2025. We are, for the year, we're down 2.3%. The market's up 2.8%. We're underperforming by 5.1%. So the earnings call was please refer to the episode, but I just want to reiterate, it was full of inspiration and hope. And I think that's what's so important. And I think the market's valuing this correctly. I mean, the company is a $1 trillion company because of Elon Musk and his effect on the culture of the company. So it's not just him personally, of course, but it's the culture. And I think Rudolf Diesel's book this book shows how important a man can be, even though the technical designs and the execution of designs might be something that almost any well-educated engineer should be able to execute, but there's still something more to it, something, maybe it's a certain artistry or certain ability to deliver that is very unique to people like Rudolf Diesel. So again, to summarize, I think this book is very inspirational for us, particularly since we are living through a time now where we have another figure very similar to Rudolf Diesel. And it's also very hopeful, because that was a time when lots of innovation happened, and we are living in the same time. We have this potential for a lot of innovation in transportation, in AI, and in aerospace. Young people are being affected by it. They want to go study these things. They want to go work in those companies. And the same exact thing happened in the time of Rudolf Diesel. So that's really inspirational. And it's nice to go back sometimes in history and see how history rhymes. It's not the same, but it does rhyme. Of course, we are in a very different world today. We have AI, we have aerospace, we have electric transportation. So it's a lot more. There's many more dimensions to innovation than during the times of Rudolf Diesel. But nevertheless, it's still similar in a sense that we have an inspirational man with ingenuity and entrepreneurial acumen that can really change the world. Thank you.